Hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you so much for coming tonight. It's kind of rainy and icky, so really thank you so much for braving the traffic that's out there probably. So I have some notes because I tend to forget sometimes to even say my name. So I have to write my name down. So yeah, thank you for coming, and we do this if this is your first time. I do this every first Wednesday of the month unless there's a holiday, usually at 7 p.m. right here at the Cuban Collective. So I hosted, my name is Yasmin Robles, I remember my name. I am the owner of Robles Designs. I create drill-worthy websites and brands for entrepreneurs who are pretty much hell-bent on taking over the world. So, and I've been doing that for almost, I think, more than 8 years now. Worked for small businesses, for corporate, and now just loving flourishing and stuff, helping small business owners flourish their business. So that's a little bit about me. There are some surveys down on certain spots. That's for towards the end of the session, and you can fill that out if you want a strategy session from myself or from Beth afterwards. Just check it off. If you didn't get a survey, I have some more by my laptop, or you can just come up to me, give me your name and email address, and we'll touch base. Now, I would like to thank Pam, who brought the wine for us. Pam, why don't you come up and tell us a little bit about your business?
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I'm so surprised that it's such a big group. I was outside telling this room, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's a line of people to get inside, so I really have to pull it together. First off, my name is Pam Stone. My business is Sheep Power. And everyone's always talking about sheep power. And what sheep power does is help women to declutter their lives. And we declutter their lives in several different ways. I hold workshops, and this is one of my books. It went bestseller, #1 bestseller on Amazon. Yeah, someone who was saying, oh, never brag. But I was so blessed with having able to do a collaboration. So declutter your life helps you overcome those barriers or what you said you could or someone told you you can't do. How many times has someone told you you can and you think about it and you sit about it? Or how about this? How many times you procrastinate and your to-do list is so big you forget to do it? With Declutter Your Life, actually I help you overcome those obstacles. I just had a workshop last week. It's called Clear Your Mind, Clutter, and Stop Procrastinating. Because so many of us entrepreneurs, or us women, I just focus on women, who we get so lost in the hustle and bustle, we forget about what we want to do, right? And I was one of them. I got lost in the hustle and bustle, lost in the sauce, and I did everything for everybody else until that one day I got the nudge. And it was a nudge from God saying, this is it. You don't do it, it's on you. So I just created Declutter Your Life, and I now help women, empower women to go out and seize whatever opportunity they want. May it be their dream job, or may it be that they want to be an entrepreneur. So on the other side of it, I do help women to transform their business. So maybe you don't know what you want to do. Maybe you don't know where to start at. I help you get you a plan together, and we start working together. So that's what I do. Oh, and I do also have a show, it's Conversate with Pamela, and we talk, and I bring women on to discuss the obstacles that they face day to day, and tell you how to get past those obstacles. Okay.
Yeah, so just make sure that you talk to Pam, thank her for the wine, and towards the end, just fill out that survey or come see me, and we'll get together. So, I'm going to introduce.
Sorry, how much is your book? $20. Thank you.
So Beth is my daughter, she's my roommate because we have to share a wall for an office upstairs.
I tap on the wall and I sing, so
and
then I know I'm there.
I ignore. Or I'm listening to the podcast, I don't know. But she is the owner of marketing department. And she creates stories that sell, right? And she takes your facts and data and makes them into sexy videos that will breathe life into your brand. So, yeah, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. I don't know, but I'm gonna pretend it's coming. Thank you for being here. This is an amazing turnout. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk about video. Before a lot of you got here, I actually went around and asked for a couple of questions about what do you guys want to learn, what do you want to take away from this talk today. So we probably got, I can turn this into a half-hour talk and really cover a lot of things to get you started. But I want to know, what do you guys want to walk away knowing today? What are your burning questions about video so that I can make sure that I incorporate it and touch upon it while we're here and gathered today. So anybody want to go first and raise their hand and go for it?
What are some of the basic tactics to make a good video that people will view?
Okay. All right. What else?
When do you lose people?
3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else?
How do you make it clean without looking like a home movie? You know, like everything's sharp. Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what I'm going over. So I'm not gonna write that one down. What else? Yeah.
How can I make an awesome 3-minute video in 15 minutes or less?
Wait, made actual production in 15 minutes or less? Can't. There's a lot of pre-production work that you have to go into it. So are you saying only shooting for 15 minutes? Or everything?
I want to make the video effectively in the shortest amount of time possible because my day is overly full already.
Okay. We're gonna write this down because I want to get back to this in a second, but help me distill that down into a quick question. How to make quick videos quickly? Sure. Quick videos. All right, what else? Yes, ma'am.
How to, I'm sorry, I got my thought.
We'll come back to you. It's totally fine. Go for it.
How do you write the script?
All right.
The best editing apps that are low cost or free.
Oh, okay, good, great power. I see it. Okay, any other questions? So we're gonna go over a lot. Yes, ma'am.
Maybe just things that make good videos and topics that don't make good videos.
Okay, and that'll really depend upon what it is that you do, but how-tos are always the top, what people want to watch. People don't really care about brand videos. I mean, just viewing it in social. On your website, 100% yes. But definitely it's the how-to videos when you're teaching them some information or you're showing hey, I'm a cupcake decorator, I'm gonna cook. It's like food porn. So anything that you can kind of get lost in for your lunch hour, you want people to spend their lunch hour with you because that's when they're scrolling on social. So anything that's easily digestible, that's short. 3 minutes, unfortunately, is way too long, but it just depends upon your audience and what you're trying to teach to them. Okay, any other questions? Just hand.
Video timing, how long should a good video last? You know how Instagram now has,
Yep.
What's that, the TV thing?
IGTV?
Thank you. How long should you make an IGTV that's really going to make a difference? Maybe?
I mean, more people to actually start watching it. It depends upon your content. So that's the main thing. You really have to focus on your content. For most of us, we have 10,000 followers. It's professional for over 10 minutes in IGTV. So I'd say just shoot for 5 and just see your engagement ratings. When do they fall off? When do people stop watching, basically? Terry, did you have a question? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Mine kind of went with hers. Are there different styles of videos that go with different types of audiences?
Yes. Let me write it down so we come back to it. Okay. Styles and audiences. Okay. I'm going to get to as many as I can. Like I said, I try to put this into a half-hour thing. That way we can answer questions. So raise your hand, ask me questions. Please make a promise to me right now. If I go off topic and you're not understanding, just be Beth, rewind, help. What is this? Please, can everybody admit this is a safe space because I want to teach you. I want you guys to walk out and be I'm ready to do this. I know this. So I'm Beth Manduni. I've been doing video for 13 years. Spent my entire career in it. I have my own business, marketing department. I'm Yasmin's roommate upstairs, office maybe early. And I make videos for companies, business owners, anyone who needs to communicate a message. what I focus on is actually social videos, so small videos that are easily consumed, that help to raise brand awareness, engagement, that are just fun, lighthearted, and help to get information out. So, I'm gonna throw some stats at you guys. You've probably heard all of them. Ooh, that was there we go. You've probably heard most of them already. But these are just stats that I absolutely love. If you put a video on your landing page on your website, it actually can increase your conversion rate by 80%. Just by people getting to know you, getting to know who you are, being able to see your brand, even if it's just taking photographs and making like a PowerPoint slideshow to show your brand, and so that people get to see who you are, understand that there is a face with the person that is behind the website, and they want to buy from you. We're running low on power, so we're going to plug this in. How many of you guys are business owners here in the group? Okay, awesome. How many of you guys are influencers? Would you say bloggers? That sort of a thing. What else did I miss? Because there's like only half. Just people who want to up their skill. Maybe you just want to do stuff for like home movies and family gifts and stuff. Yeah, anybody? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Like the spiritual side, like more the holistic spiritual side.
Yeah.
That's starting to be more popular now too.
That is true. You're right. So video can be a great way of just connecting to your tribe of people, to be able to get a message out, to be able to put your face with, your beliefs, and honestly, here I am. These are my thoughts. These are my beliefs. Engage with me. These are the ideas I have to share. So a lot of it is, just connecting with your people, and we have power. Great. Awesome. So I'm kind of focusing a little bit more on the business owner side of things, but all of these skills can be transferable if you want to just connect with your tribe and your community, or if you want to do a video for a family present, or if you're an influencer and you want to put it on a blog. But specifically for business owners, because I am one, I like to look at these stats. So 90% of customers say that videos help with their buying decisions. There are four times more buyers that prefer to watch a video about a product than those just who prefer to read about it. So who, when you're buying something on Amazon, likes to buy something when it's got a video attached to it? I watch them. One, because I'm like nosy and I want to know what they do, but it helps inform my decision so I can see it in a 360 rather than just seeing it through stills. And then it is another stat that I love: 64% of clients often buy a product online after watching a video about it. So if you have a product, if you have a service, being able to communicate and connect with your audience will actually get you, you'll get people to be able to want to buy what it is. They'll understand more quickly rather than just reading. Because I don't know about you guys, I love to read, but when I'm on social media, I scroll right past. I don't really read the posts. I'll look at a pretty picture. I'll 100% watch a video. But maybe it's just me because I'm in video and I want to see what my competition's doing. I don't know. So this presentation specifically focuses on bite-sized video for social media. And what do I mean by bite-sized videos? So these are the videos that you're sitting, you're watching with your phone, you're scrolling, and they come up on your social media feed. So they're the ones that you sit and you watch during your lunch hour or at your desk when you're taking a couple-minute break, or they just come up on your feed. So I always like to say shorter is better. And so I have a couple of examples of some videos that I've done. I think this one specifically is for Haven, but there's a couple things that I put in here for this example. So you'll notice when you're scrolling through social media, you're actually not listening to any sound. I mean, the sound is off. So that's why I've included text over top of the video. And I've made them all square formats because when we're on our phones, that's what they play in. They play in the squares. So here's one. I'll just go ahead and let you watch once how this plays. So I like to tell people, if you can actually take photographs for Instagram, then you have the power, you have the skills already needed to actually be able to get footage, to be able to use it for a video piece. This is me just rolling video on my iPhone, standing there and letting the action happen in the frame. And you cut it together, you put a message on it, and it actually turns out to be a pretty nice piece of social that you can consume over your lunch break or something like that. Here's another example. Put a couple in here. This is just using text. This is just using, I can't wait to tell you, this is called Legend. So it actually makes, you just type in the text that you want, and it actually makes these videos for you. It's an amazing editing tool, but it's actually an animation one. It's called Legend, and I know it's available on iPhone. I'm not certain if it's available on Android or anything else, so I apologize for Android users. I'm a little bit biased, just because it's what I have in my pocket. But being able to quickly just put some flashing movement up there with some text can really get people to be interested. Yes?
Quick question.
Yeah.
With subtitles, what do you use to do that?
With subtitles, like what I did in the first video, I actually used a program called Adobe Rush, and I typed them in there. There are different editing platforms where you can type in your text and put it over top of the video.
Always using subtitles?
I do like to use, for social, nobody's listening to it with sound. Everybody's got it off. Come on, think about when we've been consuming data and like we're on social media and somebody accidentally plays the video and you're like, oh my God. And they've interrupted your flow or whatever you're doing. So yeah, definitely subtitles. And then people will go and click on it and watch it later, hopefully with the audio. But think about attention, ATTN, with, I think it's colon afterward. That is just a video, a social network that, not a social network, it's on Facebook. And they make these really good videos. Think about Panda, what is it? Come on, you guys, help me out. Chapter. There you go. Like all these videos that you're watching, go for it.
Speaking of the audio, would you suggest making video without audio with the text, or would you put it on there and just leave it to them to do user settings?
Leave it to the user to be able to consume it. Always have it there and available for them. Like I put music on them. Well, that last one I didn't, my bad. So they can decide whether they want to watch it with audio or not. Rewinding back to Board Panda, Attention. There's some other social one that tells you about like climate justice and stuff. I don't know. They're on my feed. I subscribe to them. But basically, if you watch them, it's the same format. Now, next time you're on Facebook, start watching these videos and seeing how many people actually put text over top of it.
I can't find that.
Legends.
It's not available in the US anymore. They're taking it down from the store.
Well, this is good for me to know for updating my presentation. Thank you. So if you've got the old version.
Yeah, it's not currently, it's probably from that security breach.
Well, now I gotta figure that out on my phone. Thank you. I'm scared.
You'll email us later, right, if we have our email with You'll find something fabulous.
If I find something fabulous, I will let everyone know. Because that was my go-to for a long time. Actually, it was the one that Facebook recommended when Facebook came to town a couple months ago, I think. So I'm a little bit bummed. This one I tried out today. I found Swish, which I thought was actually pretty cool. The thing that, oh, that's my son Hank. He's my 3-year-old terrorist. He's a lot of fun. And what I liked about this one was that it puts text over top of it. It's like its own template. Only you have to have, you can only do one long clip, which really annoyed me. So you've used Swish before too. Yeah. Yeah. I don't, what it works well with is if you have like a 10-second long video clip, but if you want to put multiple different clips in there, it won't let you do it. But for what it was actually pretty cool. That one you do have to pay for it, it's kind of expensive, so just letting you know. So social videos, you want to make sure that they're square, they're 60 seconds or less, and then you put your text over top of it. 60 seconds or less, why do I say that? That is the limit on Instagram. And if you're going to do a story, it's 15 seconds, and the story is vertical. So you want to make sure that you're able to pack a lot of messaging in that 60 seconds. Let's see, what else can I tell you? So I like to tell people if you can, how to build your own B-roll archive. Eventually, for business owners, you will one day want to actually get a crew out there, a video crew, to come out and take your video for whatever it is that you're doing. And say you're doing a promotional video or something like that, typically they'll ask, oh, do you have any B-roll that we can use? Because when they come out, they're just shooting that one day. So the best thing that you can do is start actually acquiring a B-roll on the go. So if you've got, just take your smartphone, shoot it horizontally. I don't have my phone because Yasmin's taking pictures for me. But shoot it horizontally, that way you can utilize it in more formats. Let me make a point, and then I'm going to come back to the horizontal versus vertical. So anyway, if you basically just pretend you're taking a picture for Instagram and you press record and you just hold it and you hold it very still and you let the action play through it, like I showed you with the first video, hold it for 10 seconds and then take that video and put it up onto your Google Drive and just save everything there. And that way when you go to tell a story about your business or tell your story about who you are, you've got this footage already and you can just start pulling it down and making it into multiple videos. And you can reuse that footage over and over. And it'll save you tens of thousands of dollars in a year. I had a client who would take every single piece of footage that she ever had shot anywhere, and she had this giant hard drive with years worth of footage. It was new to my children's hospital, and I thought it was the smartest thing, so I stole that tip from her. Let's see, where are we going? Oh, horizontal versus vertical. So most of us consume and we use our phones vertically. I need a prop. May I borrow a phone? Yeah, thank you. Oh, that's a great picture. Thank you. Okay, so most of us are typically used to like shooting things like this, which is fine if you're going to utilize the footage that you acquire for Instagram. But typically when you're on a website or you're looking at a monitor, whether it be a computer or a television screen, it's horizontally. So I always tell clients and people to shoot horizontally. I know we typically do this when we take our pictures, but shoot horizontally. That way you can get more usage out of it. So when you go to take that footage and you go to put it on your website, it's going to fill the screen. There's nothing that irks me more than not having full screen footage on a website or a TV commercial. Does anybody watch Tosh.0? Right. You ever see it when there's just the middle screen is filled with the footage and it's black on the other side? It's just, I die a little bit. So actually that's why I started teaching this course, because I was trying to make people rotate their phones. But if you are going to shoot with Instagram, with your IGTV story, it's vertical. That's the format you have to be in. And you can take your footage, if you're going to make a square video, you can use footage from either way, whether it's vertical or horizontal. So it still gets used out of it if you accidentally shoot it in the wrong format. It'll be fine if you're making a square video. Well, that just automatically advanced. But I'm going to go back to your questions, because I really want to get through and answer what it is you guys want to know. Typically when I teach this workshop, I bring out a bunch of gear, and I show people how to use lighting and audio and camera support to get better quality video. But I really want to stick on answering your questions. So somebody earlier had asked, like, how do you get better video? I mean, to get better video, you really want to stabilize your shot. So if you're standing there, may I have your yay! You get a bonus point. I don't know what you're gonna get, but you get a bonus point. So to be able to have the best footage, you want to make sure that it's not shaky. And typically when we're holding our cameras, it can be very shaky. So you just turn yourself into a human tripod, and you stand with your shoulders, with your feet shoulder width apart. You pull your elbows in, and you just hold it really tight to you. And it basically takes out all the shake. And then let the motion, everything that you're shooting, happen through your camera. And that way, because if you ever like move, you try to, this camera is too low quality. It won't capture the footage the way you want it to. So start watching your HGTV, start watching your Food Network channel, and you'll see that nobody really ever moves the camera. It's always just people right there with the shot, and things are happening through the viewfinders. So this class usually I teach with smartphones because everybody has it in the back of their pocket. You can use your smartphone. I think it's a great camera, especially if you bought your phone within the past. I think mine's 3 years old, quite honestly. It's an iPhone 7 Plus, and it takes great quality footage. Everything that you've seen that I've shown you today was shot with that. So stabilize your shot. Going back to what I was saying before, stabilize your shot, that way you take any of the bounce out of it. The next thing is to make sure to have a really good video is to have proper lighting. You want to make sure that you've got enough light sources so that you can actually see the person in front of you. So right now, if you were to take a shot of me, I think where I'm standing, you're gonna see like a lot of terrible shadows occurring on my face. You're taking a picture, I'll let you take it, right? So I've got like these bags under my eyes, and it's just not hot at all. So you wanna make sure that you have enough good lighting. We could, if it was daylight, I'd stand in front of the video and let it kind of hit me so it's all surrounding me. You can take multiple lighting sources, and you can basically just take 2 lighting sources, and if I am a light and you're my talent, I'd put one here, and I'd put one here, and they would crisscross, and they would fill in all the shadows around her face. And then the third light, this is 3-point lighting, the third light I would put in the background to illuminate whatever's in the background, so it doesn't look like she's falling into a big giant black pit. So, thank you for being my assistant. Everybody who sits in the front gets a point. I don't know what it's for, but you get a point. Or a gold star. Let's see, what else? What do people want to see? And I think a couple of you have a question. Again, it's the how-to videos. People want to see people. People want to see faces, they want to connect. If you have a brand, if you're an influencer, I myself am scared to be in front of camera. It just happens, but if you practice enough, you get that confidence. But people want to connect with people. People like to hear testimonials about a brand. They like to see people's eyes. It's a gateway to your soul. If you can connect with people through content and being able to hear what they have to say, that's really good content. So for those of you who are business owners and you want to be seen as an expert in your field, being able to actually post your videos, do a video post up on LinkedIn, can do wonders for your brand. Hey, today I'm going to be talking about video production, because that's what I talk about, or storytelling, and we're going to be covering this, this, and this. So to be able to just show them and give them some content that they can learn from to do it themselves is always the best. I actually had a conversation with my baby boomer father this morning. He's like, I don't understand, Beth, why would anybody ever put video up and teach content? I'm like, and I said very calmly, Dad, it's because you want to be seen as the expert. Most people don't want to do whatever it is that you do. They want to hire the expert, and they want you to make their life better. So being able to have engagement and talk to them about whatever it is they want to talk about, and then say, hey, you know what, after however long, 2-3 minutes, I'm going to be doing this workshop, or send me an email, we can do a strategy session, that sort of thing, and that helps with lead generation. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pass these handouts around if you actually want to take half. So somebody asked earlier, you know, what do I talk about? And if there are not enough, ask your neighbor to take a picture, and also email me later and I will send you a copy. But this is basically like a script guideline that I like to put together. I'm gonna look over. You can go there. Okay. So this is basically developing your story. You want to be able to You want to be able to tell really good content this level. Somebody said, asked earlier, if you're going to do an Instagram post, how do I turn that into a video? So it's a little bit longer format. You basically want to make sure that you're going to be telling them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them. Very similar to something you learned in like 7th grade when you were learning how to write. But you want to tell them, introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Beth Manduni. Today I'm talking about video production. And we're going to learn about this, this, and this. And then you talk to them about those key points. So this guide just helps me to develop my script and helps me to understand these are the main points that I want to talk about. This is what I'm focusing in this bite-sized consumable video right now. And then here's the call to action. This is the step that I want you to take so that you download my ebook, you connect with me on LinkedIn, you follow me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. And the other thing that I put on there is keywords. If you can ever talk to your target audience in that keyword and the vernacular that they speak every single day, if you can take out all the jargon, industry speak, because honestly, when you do that, when you put that in there, it doesn't make you sound smart. It makes your viewer feel dumb. And that's never a good thing, because you want them to like you. You want them to connect with you and make you feel, oh, she makes me feel good. She makes me feel smart. We don't say that. I want to get to know her better. So, all right. Somebody asked me earlier about sources. And I'm going to speed through this. There we go. So I have a couple sources that I like to use. If you ever need footage and you can't shoot it yourself, you can purchase footage. You can purchase that footage, and there's a couple of, and I can keep these up so you can take pictures later on too. But here's a couple places that you can go to get those audio beds that you might need to put underneath your footage. And you can also find additional like video pieces. If you really need a surfboarding hat or something and it has to be there, well, here's a place that actually would have it and you can buy it. Somebody asked me about sources. Oh, you asked me about sources about the embed code. My note was wrong. Okay, but all right, I talked to you about that already. So these are just like the sources I like to use. And then this is the other one that people were asking about, like where do I go with editing software? So unfortunately, Legend is no-go anymore. I apologize that it's on the list. I downloaded it months ago and I love it. So for editing your files together, there's two different desktop versions that I like to recommend. Both of them are from Adobe. They do cost a little bit. I think it's like $10 a month. One is Adobe Spark, and if you're just dipping your toe in, you're getting to know how to actually edit this video. You would actually, they're templates. So basically, you drop your files in here. They move the files around. They do the transitions for you. They give you in that template a very specific style and look with your text, and you can choose your own audio. It's pretty plug and play and pretty easy to understand, but if anybody's interested, I do have a handout guide. Just email me, I can send that to you. And then the other one I teach a class on is Adobe Rush. I'm a little bit partial to it because I work in Adobe Premiere. That's a video editing software, but it's one of the Adobe things, so it's expensive and it's hard to learn. But Rush was their solution for people who wanted just a little bit more to be able to actually put that text over top of the video files, to be able to have a drag and drop interface that was more easy to understand than, and had a customization. That's what it has. So I love that. I do teach a class on that one. Some other apps that you can do is Video Shop and Video Leap. I threw Swish in there because I thought it was interesting. It's very specific, and that's it. So Video Shop and Video Leap are the two ones on the phone that I really like. And I just realized that Android was spelled wrong, so yay! Please excuse me, I make mistakes all the time, and I will own them. Okay, so is that following up with the where should I go to find a resource to edit? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question real quick. Which one do you think is the easiest for a beginner?
I think Adobe Spark is the easiest for a beginner. Okay. Video Leap is pretty amazing. There's too many things to touch in there. Adobe Spark really limits what you can do, and I think that's the best for the beginner, to be able to understand how you actually start stitching together your source footage together into a timeline to be able to have your video. Okay, thank you. Oh, no problem. Any other questions on this is like the slide everybody wants to know. So I want to make sure that I covered it. Yeah? Okay. I need to start taking this down. So I'm going to go to your question about the quick video. So ask it again. You have limited amount of time. You're a business owner.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a 1-minute video, that's fine, but what would be the creation flow that could allow me to create a piece of content, a minute or less, that can still be effective, but isn't going to take hours for the day?
Okay. Will it be you speaking to camera?
Possibly.
Okay. So really following that guideline that's in front of you, honestly, what I like to do is write out my script first. What am I going to tell these people? What do I want them to know and understand from me? And then you're going to figure out what visuals pair with it. So maybe it is you on camera. So you really have to write out your script, practice it, and then present it to your camera. Or it might be you just recording your voice and actually reading that script, and then you can find video pieces to actually go over top of it, over top of your voice. it takes experience, but it also takes being bold and willing to try new things to see what works. So really, if you were at an event like this, you'd just be like, hey, I'm here today, I'm so excited to walk in. If you're just trying to get some engagement with people, and they want to know what you're doing, you can say that. Or what do you do, actually?
I have a podcast,
Okay, you have a podcast.
so it's audio.
Okay. So would this be like a promotional thing that you would do to promote the podcast?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you could take videos of yourself just, with your coffee mug and like, I am so excited. I just had a phone call with such and such, and we're planning our next podcast. We're going to cover A, B, and C. Come join me. You can listen. It's going to launch at this time. That sort of thing. Does that make sense? Okay. Awesome. When you're doing video, most of us, so there's the influencers and then there's the business owners. People have something to sell and people who want to connect with people. Well, we all want to connect with people. But I like to think of social video almost like a TV commercial. So if you have your social posts that are like 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 60 seconds, you can always use that as like a promotion for if you're going to do a podcast, if you're going to be doing an event, if you're going to be live somewhere doing a book study, Pamela. If you're doing an event like Wine and Websites, you can always just go on with your face and say, hey, come join me. We're going to be having a lot of fun. Check it out, that sort of thing. So I like to use video as almost like a promo for whatever it is I want people to do. I recently worked with a client, and she does live videos. And I said, all right, if you're gonna do your live video on this day, then you need to have 2 promotional videos going out so that you actually get the people to show up to Instagram Live so that they know that you're gonna be doing this. So think of it as like just mini commercials to drive engagement, to be able to see you when you're there. Because ultimately you want people there pressing happy face hearts and asking questions and giving you waves. You want that engagement because it takes the nervousness out. And it's also so that you're not like just speaking to a void. You want that engagement. Okay. Talked about that. We talked about all that. Okay. All right. What haven't I covered yet? Because I think I can't read some of my writing. Quite honestly.
Could you go to the slide?
Everyone's
done right now. Yeah.
That one? Okay. What makes a good video? So if you're going to be on camera, you have to write out. There's so much pre-production that you need to do. 5 minutes? Thank you. There's so much pre-production that you need to do. Honestly, as a video producer, I spend about 70% of my time on the video in pre-production. I need to figure out what are the right words, what's the call to action, what's the message, what shots do I need to get. 10% of my time is actually acquiring all the footage. So that's either me in front of the camera speaking, or that would be me going out and shooting footage of whatever it is I need to take. And then the last 20% is actually spent on edit. So you really have to pre-plan everything. So think about like doing a birthday party. You have to figure out who's doing the cake. What about the food? Who's the caterer? Sound the invitations? All that stuff. And then there's the day of the event, and you're like crazy and everything. And then there's the cleanup, where you gotta like put everybody's trash away. So it's just like hosting a party. You really need to make all your planning efforts so you know what it is you're gonna say. And then it just makes the production a lot easier. So when you put these things out on Instagram and Facebook, you can do A/B testing with different messages as far as like what the text is next to your post, or even what it is if you have 2 different versions of the same video where you just change the call to action. Look and see your engagement on Instagram and Facebook. What are people resonating with? Who's actually making more comments? Who's engaging? Who's liking it more? And then after the A/B test, you can actually tweak your messaging for going forward and actually doing future posts. Okay, I think we have a couple minutes. Did I not get to somebody's question? Did I just throw a lot of crap at you and everybody's like, oh, I can't do video now? Yes, sir.
You mentioned Instagram a few times. I mean, do you feel Instagram reaches a local audience, or is that kind of broad? I mean, from my perspective, it seems like it'd be not just I mean, if you're a small business trying to focus on a tight market,
Yeah.
is it worth it?
Video on there is newer. It depends upon who you're trying to reach. So Instagram, what is it, 35 and younger is really the demographic that it's used towards. Older than that is on Facebook. So it really depends upon your product and who it is that you want to talk to.
So
Does that make sense?
a younger audience is if you shoot.
Younger audience use Facebook or use Instagram.
Instagram does have the stories, which you can do video, which when I do video, like I hate being on camera, but when I do it myself or like behind the scenes, it gets a lot more attention for the stories, and then you can do lives and stuff like that. But posts, I don't know, I get more, if it's a video and it's my face and it's a story on Instagram, it gets more, more attention.
And that's what I typically see is when my face is in it, I get so much more engagement. What's Beth doing? Oh, she's gonna screw up, just wait. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, what else? Yes.
So let's say you find your content and you like pre-make your production and script and everything, and you go to put it on like Instagram where they have a million different tags and stuff for people to look for. How do you best condense it so you don't have like 100 different
Like
tags
sheet?
and people? Yeah.
Okay. You want to try, now going back to the keywords that's on that sheet, try to get into the brain of the people that you want to talk to, that you want to consume this information. What are they searching for? Being able to use those terms, that vernacular, being in their headspace to be able to tag it in a certain way. That way, if they do search it, so I put video marketing tips on a lot of my stuff, you know, or DIY for business owners, DIY video. The best ones are, I mean, you want to make sure that it's not too huge, so try to stay in your 6-figure range, and actually anywhere in your 6-figure range. I'm not the best expert on Instagram, but this is what I have learned from people who've taught me. Because if your hashtag has like, hashtag video, there's like 1 million. Well, the feed's gonna be going so fast, nobody's gonna see it. But if it's like, video marketing tips by Beth Manjuni, well, nobody's subscribing to that because it's so specific. So if you can find one and you just start putting hashtags in it, actually you can see, once you start typing it in, how many people have actually posted using that hashtag. Try to stay in your 6-figure range. Does everybody else, I see nods. So people who know about this are nodding. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, yes?
I just recently experienced Instagram where we let me put 30 hashtags and I'm like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, it said it wouldn't post it. I spent 30 minutes trying to figure out, oh, it was giving us 20 hashtags.
Thanks. Well, it's good for you to know.
Can you say that again?
Yes, I know.
I learned the other day Instagram max of 30 hashtags, 25 to 30 is the max, and then it won't post if you do.
All right, who's gonna start trying video? Yeah, all right. Honestly, it's like riding a bike. If it sucks, you delete it. Well, that's not like riding a bike at all. It's like riding a bike, you have to practice it, period. And if it sucks, you just delete it and nobody ever knows it exists. But if you're gonna go live, you have to practice. Practice. Yeah. Okay, thank you guys. If you have questions? So if you have questions, my business information is floating around. What was that? I have video, thank you. Oh, she's so good. I teach this class, it's a 2-hour workshop, and we really get into the gear and like a little bit digging in deep and it's an 8-person workshop. I keep them small intentionally so that it's like more of a specific, like helping people figure out the problems that they have with video. So I run those every month. I think the next one is tomorrow. They're typically towards the end of the month. I had a snow day. And then I also teach a Storytime Workshop. So people who need help telling their story, feeling confident, getting really clear so that their customers and consumers can connect with them. That's the other workshop that I do. And check a mark for your storytelling strategy session. We talk about you, we figure out what it is, where you get stuck with feeling confident when you're getting in front of people and talking for the first time. So check on that. Thank you, Jasmine.
So I don't know about you guys, but my favorite part was when she kept telling me, or I felt like she was telling me, to get on camera. So I'm gonna have to, I don't know, get somebody to hold me accountable to it. Okay, so again, thank you everybody for coming. Next month, I'll be doing the presentation on DIY strategies for your website, so make sure to come to that. It's the first Wednesday at 7 p.m. right here. And if you can please fill out the feedback form. If you didn't get a feedback form, there are a few on that ledge up there. There's might be a few floating around. If you would like a strategy session with either Beth or myself, make sure to check mark. If you didn't get a form and you would really love a strategy session, let me know. We'll jot down your name and we'll hook you up. So if Pam could you just come back up here, tell us a little bit about your business again, and yeah, just to remind us. And she was filling out her form. She was doing everything. Yeah, so she'll chat about that, and then there's still wine up there, or no? There's honeymead by Zenby, right?
Zenby.
So there's honeymead.
First of all, wasn't that awesome workshop?
It was better because there was fun.
I just wanted to come up and tell everybody, I too will have a workshop here. It will be March the 7th. I'm going to be, it's all about fine-tuning your vision board. How many of you have one? Do you have one? Do you use it? That's good, you use it. Not very many people use it. So when you come to a workshop, we'll give you a few tips on how to take it out of the dust pile, brush it off, and how to make it more effective, and how to use it to make it work for you. So we'll be doing that on March the 7th here. And again, I thank everyone. This one lets you know, get out here and explore your life and do whatever you want to do, but don't let society run you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I have a shameless plug to ask. I need more followers on Instagram. Please help me.
What's your Instagram handle?
Oh, what is it, you ask? Well, it's marketing department, but it's shorthand at my office, so it's mkg.columbus. Oh wait, no, that was not it. mkg.dpt. I swear there was no line. Because we've done workshops with horses that cannot drink. mkg.dpt.columbus. That was embarrassing, but it happened, and
Oh, it's right there.
it's like that. I remember it.
Okay, I have a question. I've been wondering this. I don't know about anyone else or if I'm the idiot here. But now that I just got onto your Instagram to follow it, you have your stories workshop, did you know? And there's beautiful little logos.
Oh, thank you.
I want to do the logos for stories.
You actually have to upload them. You have to upload pictures there. And I don't think it goes to your feed. I think you can actually click on it and then...
You can create, so you create your graphic and then you click on, there's a little circle on the left side. My phone might be the only one, but then you upload that photo and then you, whatever stories that you have posted, you can go back into the archives and then click on to select them to Canva.
Oh yeah, I use Canva. I made this on Canva. So easy.
Oh.
I know Illustrator too, and I'm like, this is so much easier.
It's easier to use on it. I hate Canva on my phone.
Oh, it's
I
don't
agree.
use it on the screen.
I've heard good things about it on the desktop, but I've never done it on the desktop. I hate it on my phone. I'll use WordSwag, I'll use Photify, I'll use Vanilla Pen, and I'll use Over. When I say I have Canva, I pay for Canva, I hate it.
I don't use it on my phone.
I'm sorry, try it on your desktop, you'll be very happy. Because you can reset Talanda. You heard me say Tangela, it was close. Talanda. Come up here and I'll show you what I did.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So thank you again for coming. If you would like to schedule a strategy session for either a website review or with Beth,
or if you just want to come and chat, drink wine with the two of us,
that we just need an excuse to drink wine. Feel free to sign up, and we'll have wine available. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming, and have a great evening.